Alright guys, today we are gonna be reacting to 6 ways to tell a woman is toxic. Every guy needs to know this. Okay, let's jump in and see this.
If you're new here, I'm Courtney Ryan, and today we're going to be going over 6 foolproof, easy ways to tell that a woman is toxic. And I think every single guy on the planet should watch this video, especially after the Amber Heard Johnny Depp debacle that we all saw online. I think it will benefit all of you to make sure that you watch this video and stick around until the very end. So again, these are 6 foolproof ways to tell that a woman is toxic. Let's get right into it. Number 1, she's always the victim. If she's always pointing fingers, blaming you, never taking accountability, it's always everyone's fault but hers, this is not a good sign, and a sign that she's unable to take accountability for her actions, which is obviously not beneficial if you're looking for a healthy, mature relationship. This is the type of girl that's always going to make you feel guilty, who's going to make you feel like you need to be apologizing for things that you didn't even do, simply because of the fact that she can't take accountability for her actions. Plain and simple, it's exhausting to be with someone like this, and a toxic situation to be in where someone is always blaming other people and playing the victim. Now, there's a really big difference between playing the victim and actually being the, person who is in the right in a situation. I'm not saying that she can never be the victim in a situation, but I do think that constantly playing the victim or wanting to be the victim and wanting people to feel bad for you and throw a pity party for you is not a good way to live your life and is exhausting to be with someone like that. Number 2, easiest ways to see things from the very beginning is that they play games. This is something that you honestly might be able to pick up on from the very start and save yourself some time. I say this all the time on my channel. If you have been on my channel for a while, I'm sure you've heard me say this a million times. If she's playing games with you, this is a sign that she is insecure and immature, and we don't have time for that here. And also, this is going to be a window into what the rest of your relationship is going to look like with her, which probably is not a healthy, happy one. I will also say this.
That's a huge shit test. She's playing games, huge shit test. And I don't understand, we don't talk about chat tests a lot. Chat test is one of the main reasons, and it's a skill that you need to develop because that's gonna determine the frame of your relationship. They all play games, folks. Even the most saint one, or the most non-toxic one, they're always gonna play games. Why? That's their way of testing you. That's their way of testing. Even if you have the most cleanest girl ever, you still have to have your need to have your game on top.
And I think it's important for me to mention this at some point in the video, is that a lot of times toxic people and toxic behaviors stem from, insecurity, immaturity, but also trauma and also things that we need to deal with and heal within ourselves that a lot of people just don't step up and do. Does it mean that this person is going to be toxic forever? No, absolutely not. Does it mean this person is going to be undateable for their entire lives? No, absolutely not. But I will say, it is not your responsibility to stick around and find out if they change or to try to be the one to change them. I would not recommend any of you do that. In this case of talking about a toxic girl, it is her responsibility to take ownership for her toxic behaviors and heal herself and work things out so that long term, she can potentially be in a healthy, happy relationship. And
That means that she has to be accountable. Good luck with that. Good luck with that, because to be accountable, that's in itself, it's just a skill. If she doesn't have the skill, it's a wrap, folks. It's a wrap, gentlemen. Just go with the next one.
while we're on the topic of stepping up and taking charge of your mental health here, I'm really excited that today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Real talk here, how is your mental health? In all honesty, I've been feeling a little bit Achievement becomes competition. Being competitive and competition in general is a very normal thing in a lot of aspects of our lives. Maybe you're playing a video game or a board game, or you're doing something fun with your partner that gets a little bit competitive. What is not healthy is when your achievements become competition. And I found a quote from an article that I want to share with all of you that says, "Healthy relationships are based on a mutual desire to see the other succeed in all areas of life," Carabello says. But when things turn toxic, every achievement becomes a competition. So maybe this looks like she doesn't encourage you, she doesn't support you, she gets upset when you get a promotion at work or when something good happens in your life because she's only able to be happy for you if the same thing is happening to her. Maybe you just got an A on your exam, but she got a C, so she's upset and mad at you for the fact that you got an A. There are so many situations and scenarios where this can present itself. That's just a little example I wanted to share with you in case maybe you've been in something like that. But again, this can present itself in many areas of our life, whether it be with friendships or work or a promotion or getting a new job. I mean, it could be, again, an array of things, but when achievement becomes competition, she's not supportive, she's not encouraging, she's not happy for you, and she only cares about herself, this is a real issue. And that leads me into my next point here, number 4, which is excessive envy or jealousy. If envy is keeping your partner from being happy for your success, this is a big issue, and it's quite frankly toxic. And when we're talking about jealousy here, jealousy
can be very dangerous. It can get to a point where it can be very physical. And I'm not saying physical like sexually physical, I'm talking about dangerously physical. If she doesn't know how to control jealousy, it could get to a point that you might end up in YouTube on one of these compilation videos, or you being the guy just getting hit by a bat. You have to control that. And as a guy, and I learned this later in life, she will always test your envy or jealousy, and you have to be stoic about it. Confront her later. Be stoic about it, because that's a way of her testing you.
Is a natural human emotion, but when it leads to constantly mistrusting your partner, snooping through their phone, or crossing boundaries, this isn't a good thing. And being jealous and envious isn't cute. And I know it might seem okay in the beginning, or people say, you know, it's healthy to have a little bit of envy or jealousy in your relationships. But again, when it gets to this excessive point, or a point where, you know, you're crossing boundaries and you can't trust each other. Now, if you've given someone a reason not to trust you, that's a totally different story. That's not what I'm talking about here. But say, for instance, you bring up a story, you're telling her something, and there's a girl that you mention in it, and the second that you mention the girl, she absolutely freaks out even though you've done nothing wrong.
Let's see if you guys know, how do you guys pass that shit test? It's the easiest way to do it. Let me know in the comment section below how you pass that shit test. I would like to hear you guys' opinion. I know how to do it, but I would like to know how you guys do it.
Exhibit A. And again here, if something positive is happening in your life, you would think that your partner would be encouraging and supportive, but if envy is keeping them from being supportive or encouraging of you, this is toxic. She's controlling. And again, my last 2 points that I made have led me to this point, and
that one is the worst. Control freaks, the worst.
They're all kind of entwined within each other, because often if, you know, she's controlling, she also might be envious or jealous. Does she make you sit on the couch when you get home from work so that she can come and take your shoes off for you, but one day you decide to take your own shoes off and she has a frantic meltdown? If you watch the Johnny Depp trial, you probably know exactly what I'm referring to here, but regardless of if you watch that or not, generally speaking here, controlling behavior is toxic. Being controlling of your partner is not healthy, point blank, period. Does she control who you hang out with, who you talk to, what you do on a daily basis, how you take your shoes off, if you take your shoes off? I know that's a crazy example, but this is just proof that it happens. Of course, setting boundaries within your relationship is really important, but setting boundaries and being controlling are two very different things. And my last point here is money. Does she try to get you to buy a Birkin even though you just met her? If so, she's probably toxic. Does she only talk to you when you're buying her something or taking her out? Remember here, what you allow is what will continue. I really want to highlight here that it's toxic to spend tons of money to impress a woman, but it's also toxic when a woman is only using you for your money. If she makes you pay her in order to send her a text message, again, if she's asking for a Birkin on the first date, if she's asking you to fly her out, and
that's not a red flag, that's sociopath behavior.
Take her shopping and that's the only way she'll talk to you, probably a sign that this girl doesn't have your best interests in mind and only wants to see what's in your wallet. And if you're in a relationship or married, the same kind of money rule applies here, but it might just look a little bit different. Have you agreed on a budget and she goes behind your back to buy things anyway? Does she cross the boundaries that you've agreed on when it comes to finances? These are conversations that you need to be having, and in order to have a healthy, happy relationship, you have to make sure that you guys are both, respecting each other's boundaries and not consistently crossing them, or that leads to toxic behavior like this. All right, guys, so to wrap it up here, again, I think a lot of
very interesting video. I think, yeah, she hit a very good points, very, very broad points, but overall very, I would say, right on the money. Most of these kind of red flags are all over the place. However, there's no video, no content that can tell you how to really pass these shit tests, which is very hard, right? I mean, you just learn with time how to really deal with some of these shit tests, and There's some folks saying that no, there's no way a very healthy female can just show you chat test. Listen, folks. Females need to chat test you a little bit because they need to know that you're in the man of the house, folks. And that's the way they do it. I'm not saying that it's okay when it comes down to very toxic behavior, but there's gonna be a little bit of here and there that they're gonna show you just to make sure you're riding the money. Very good list when it comes down to toxicity. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and how do you guys deal with this list? I'll see you in the next one.